Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmidty, Swanee and Clarkey visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Well, all the better for seeing your faces because it has been a long time.
It's been a long time.
I know, it's almost like we stopped, but then we start again. It's been, 2 months since we recorded?
At least.
Oh, yeah, I reckon even more.
Maybe just over, yeah.
Any news? I suppose you've got lots of news.
The news I want to tell you, because we the three of us haven't really sat around and talked about this, is Erin Patterson.
I know, right? It all went down.
What?
I think it went down just as you were all leaving, and I'm like, oh my God, guilty. Yes.
Yeah. So that was big, and
I couldn't believe how big it was overseas. They were really interested in it. People would speak to me about it. I'd go, oh,
mushrooms, mate, mushrooms.
I don't really know so much. But then, of course, that was before the verdict. But
How could you not know? Clarky and I have made comments about.
I
Erin
know. It's not that I
Patterson
didn't know. I obviously knew, but I had no real interest until
I was following it
when they came out.
overseas.
They were like when they came out and said, "Oh, here's the stuff we couldn't present." Then I was interested. I was like, "She what? You knew that? Naughty, Erin."
Yeah. And then, of course, the current one for us here is Desi Freeman, which, for those of you who don't know, so
he's still on the run.
Tuesday last week, so it's Wednesday today. Tuesday last week, he shot and killed two police and injured another one, a third one, and he's been on the run ever since. Now it's awful, and there's people we know who like worked with the police.
I was literally in Popunka like days before.
Really?
Yeah.
We went up for a wedding, birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to get into that, but Swanee, what I did want to say is I'm getting some good research about how the powers that be keep you informed about when there's a dangerous person on the loose. And I think at some point we need to have this conversation about what you're going to do should Wiggers come your way, because there's text messages and there's emergency apps that send you messages.
I was going to say, isn't it on the emergency app? It's like Fugitive at Large.
Like
I just love
in
that.
our watch zone.
Three in a row kind of thing comes through, all saying the same thing.
We have a Emergency Services Victoria.
And
I've got the app for
Emergency.
fires. For emergency fires, trees down, that sort of stuff.
Everything.
And because of the houseboat and being in Sunbury, and you guys in a rural area, so we those of us in the know have this app. But I noticed the other day it says fugitive or something, armed fugitive.
Well, dangerous person alert we're getting.
Yeah.
But so, Swanee, you can set up watch lists. So you can kind of look at the different crossing points where she's likely to come into Perth and set up watch lists around that.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, so we need to work out a strategy for you another day. Not today, obviously, but
you know what?
We'll
I
get
reckon
it all set, booby traps and everything.
I honestly think if Wiggers ever listened to any of us carrying on about this, she'd be like, you're not worth my trouble.
Pussies.
I think, pussies. You're not worth
I think you underestimate her.
Well, let's come up with a plan.
I don't underestimate her, just so she knows.
You definitely don't.
I definitely don't. But I would like to say that in relation to Desi, I saw a woman interviewed who, this must have happened whilst I lived overseas, but she had been involved with another armed gunman, again, I think it was in Victoria, who had gone the lam after shooting someone. I don't think it was a police person. And so I sort of tuned in. I was thinking, oh, wow. And then she said, when he was finally found, he was found 7 years later. And I went, God. I don't think I've got it in me. I don't think I could keep up this for 7 years, but I wasn't expecting that to be the resolution. I was like, she was going to say it took, 3 days or a month or whatever. No, 7 years he finally was located somewhere, and then
there's a New South Wales story like that. A guy who,
or maybe it was a New South
killed
Wales one. I don't know.
And I might cover it one day, but killed his cousin and then another, like people in the family, like in the house, and then went on the run. And went on the lam for like 7 years or something. It was extraordinary.
Well, maybe it's that story, because it was.
Might be that.
I just wasn't expecting her to say that's what to it. When she said, he was around for 7 years, I went, and I thought, I don't know, you did that good a job hunting him down. You know what I mean? I thought, I would have thought you could have wound it up within a couple of months, couple of years.
Just goes
7.
to show. I mean, it depends on whether he's getting any assistance from anyone.
Yeah, the
because
help's the key.
I've seen hunted, right, and they usually catch them fairly quickly. But it's that the bushland
In
up
hunted,
there,
they usually do. Like every time you watch it, they get him in
not
a
always,
quick
not
period
always,
of time.
Yeah. No, not always, right? And they sometimes the fugitive makes it to the boat and gets away. So, but it gets me that. I mean, when you think about our bushland, because that's where this guy is, right? He's up in the Highlands, and you could disappear pretty easily. And that fellow, I think you're talking about. I know. I thought he better have grabbed a jacket on his way out the door, though, because he will literally have died of exposure. He could be dead for all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He better have grabbed a jacket. Oh, I'll just get back and get a cardi and put something on it. I might put a singlet, another layer on.
But at that point, he'd shot and killed he shot 3 people and killed 2 of them. And there were 10 police people there at the time. So I don't know whether he had time to get changed into his snow gear.
100%.
So unless he was wearing it already, he's out the door and he could well have frozen.
He's fine.
I reckon he's got the sovereign.
I don't think there's.
I think he's looking after him.
Well, I think the thing is that they think he's got help. So they're currently searching houses. I think they searched 100 houses today trying to find him or something.
Wow,
so
Jesus.
There's a lot going on. Whilst a less prepared, less knowledgeable person could easily perish in the shitty weather that we've had in those places.
100%,
He's one of them. Oh, the other thing we do need to say, because we've mentioned his name and we've spoken about his crimes,
allegedly,
is, of course, all of this is alleged.
Yeah.
There is
know.
no proof at all that any of this happened. So
allegedly, Desi Arnaz, that's not his name either, as on the lam in the Highlands of Victoria.
Kathy Freeman is on.
It's all alleged.
Tony Freeman. I don't know.
I suppose we should introduce ourselves after all that. My name's Schmidty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky, and together we are
Trial by
It's
Wine.
been a while. I've got to remember the routine.
I'm thinking we should introduce ourselves before we go on to a 10-minute rant about...
It's exciting news.
It has been big news, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Sad news.
God,
very sad.
yeah.
It was horrible.
In fact, we might get our Vic emergency update whilst we're podcasting.
Imagine that if it happened live.
If we
live
do,
on air.
I'll be sure to fill you in.
We've just got a new, I don't know what we'd call it, a device within the recording that we use. You may raise your hand with breaking news. We should like breaking it. Yeah. I can't imagine the noise I need to know. You know what I mean?
I do.
Breaking news.
Yep.
That's what I was after.
That'll
Something
do.
like that.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, what are we drinking?
We are just on the Swanee special, the clear Swanee special, so the sparkling water.
Oh!
Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy day, so we didn't get to the point of drinking. Anyway, that's another story.
Okay.
And I'm on water as well because I've already had 2 Diet Coke. Oh, no, 2 Coke Zeros today as a little bit of a pick-me-up. I was a bit tired earlier, so I've already had 2 little mini cans. There was somewhere that I've been in the last 8 weeks where I was forced to drink a Coke out of a buddy bottle, and all I could think of was you guys. And I must have been when I was traveling, and I was like, it wasn't like there was even an alternative. I couldn't have water. There was something
Worst
that happened.
day ever.
And I was like, well, this is a low
I was
point.
Forced to drink from a buddy bottle.
No, there must have been a reason why I couldn't have water, or it was given to me, or something, and I was, not well pleased.
Happy.
Wow,
Not happy.
no one should have to live like that.
No, I'm sorry. But anyway, what are you drinking?
And you, Schmidty?
I am drinking a gin and tonic because I'm not wet like the other
How
two.
civilised.
And the gin I'm drinking is James Gin, which is James May of Top Gear fame.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know there was such a
And
thing.
it is engineered in Wiltshire. This was given to me for Christmas last year, and this is Navy Strength Asian Parsnip is what it's called.
That'll fuck you up.
Yes, it's 57%. So
That'll fuck you up.
It does.
I
So I
expect to see you swigging out of that bottle shortly.
No. There's a reason it's September and it's still a third
Yes.
full,
right.
because it is so strong that I just have a tiny bit.
Is it
tastes
nice?
Strong. It's lovely. It tastes strong though. So
Oh.
it'd be a bit too overpowering, I think, if you had.
Does
too
it
much
taste
of
like Fisherman's Friends?
No, it just tastes like a good Navy gin. Yeah, it's nice actually. Yeah, better
When
than
you
I
say
thought it would be.
Navy gin, I don't understand that. Does that mean as in like the Navy?
Yeah, in the Navy, that kind of Navy. Yeah,
I think the implication is that
Is
the
it
people
strong?
at sea have
had strong
stronger
gin.
alcohol.
Okay, cool. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
All right, so shall I tell you a story?
Please
Oh,
do.
go
I
on
feel like we've
then.
been waiting many weeks for
I
this.
love that.
I chose today's story because while you're away, I had a bit of feedback from some of our listeners. Well, two of them. And so that's like, 90% of our listeners.
You've got to listen to the
All of
people.
them. Some of them twice.
It wasn't all of them, but two of them anyway. And they actually both independently reached out about the episode about Anita Cobby, the one that you did, Clarky.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they said
Now
it was
I'm nervous.
deeply upsetting. One of them said he was going to have to take a break from true crime for a bit because it was
Me?
no, not you.
Is that
He's
the
going
story?
to
Right.
The story was deeply
I
upsetting.
thought the feedback was going to be on the way that I told that story.
There
That's
was
what I
no
was worried
criticism.
about.
There was no criticism from either of them. The other
Phew.
one said, "Oh, I was listening to your show. It was so depressing." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a bad story."
Oh.
Yeah. But neither of them criticised the way you handled it. It was just that the story itself was incredibly upsetting.
Yeah.
You know, the senseless violence and the lack of remorse from the perpetrators and the loss of a beautiful person and really the waste of the lives of the young blokes involved in it as well. I mean, it was nothing short of depressing. So that's fair feedback, I thought. So, but I thought, and then of course, subsequent to that, I followed that with a series of other somewhat depressing stories, I suppose. And you will probably not remember because it was 2 months ago, but the last two stories that I covered were the family, remember, in South Australia. And you were
Oh,
both
goodness.
horrified by those. Yeah. So I wanted to find something that, whilst we are a true crime podcast, was a bit more uplifting, maybe. So this one's sort of uplifting in a certain way. And I think you'll get where I'm coming from as we progress, but someone does die.
Oh,
So-
super.
My sources for this story are blurredlines.com, medium.com, oxygen.com, oregonlive.com, maltco.us, mamamia.com, vocal media, Reddit and Facebook, allthat'sinteresting.com, and history and other things web.wordpress.com.
A few classics there.
There are, yeah. And did I say? I did say all that's interesting because there was a bit in there.
You did.
Okay, so I don't know what her last name was actually, what she was born. So I'm going to go with this.
Oh, no.
Susan.
That's a bad start.
It was. I don't know what her name was.
Names have been changed to protect the author.
Names do get changed, and that's why
She can't remember.
I don't think this is her maiden name. I think she changed her name later to what I was about to call her. I'm not sure I know what her maiden name is. So on the off chance that it's not what she changed it to later, I'm just going to call her Susan, okay? So Susan was born in 1955. Now, her childhood wasn't particularly remarkable, though after her parents divorced, the family moved around a lot, from Colorado to Arizona, back to California and then Nevada. So she didn't have the most stable childhood. She also didn't see great and successful relationships around her. So, like her parents, I think she said something like, "My parents loved me, but they didn't really show me what a good marriage looked like," or something like that. So she wasn't big on love, put it that way. And she wasn't, she was a bit nervous, I suppose, about relationships. She became a nurse, though, and she worked in the same emergency department for 30 years, which is pretty remarkable in itself, given how hard it would be to be in an ER department. Certainly not for 30 years. And she
I
had
spent
moved
4 hours in one today, and that was hard enough.
Oh, I know.
Anyway,
right?
that's another story. Sorry.
Yeah. She had moved to Oregon in the 80s and specifically Portland, and she absolutely loved it. In 1988, her mother and a friend, allegedly, put a personal ad in the Willamette Week.
Was the friend
local
alleged
paper.
or which bit was
Allegedly.
alleged?
You'll find out when I read the
We
ad.
don't know
you'll realise,
if they put the ad in. Oh, right. Okay.
No, we don't know if they're really a friend when you read the words of the ad.
Right. Yeah. That's a bit I was trying to work out. Was
Yeah.
the friend alleged? Yeah.
Yeah, allegedly her friend. And my next line was, and I say her friend was allegedly her friend because it read, "Someone different. Single white female, 33, overweight but not over life. Seeks single male who wants more out of a relationship than just slender." How do you like that?
Can you tell me what year is this?
88.
Looking for a chubby chaser.
We were happy with fat shaving in 1988.
Yeah,
problem.
clearly. And when did Single White Female, a movie, come out? After 88, wasn't
I
it?
feel like it was after. I feel like it was mid-90s maybe.
Yeah, because I don't think it's appropriate to start those sorts of ads with Single White Female anymore. 'Cause that just has completely different connotations.
All I remember from that was the stiletto and the eyeball.
Oh, that's a good one.
1992.
There you go.
Yeah,
I was thinking, I
there
think
we
I was
go.
in the year 12. So there
I
you
never
go.
watched it, I don't think. I couldn't be able to cope. I know.
Shoe in the eyeball.
Oh, stop it.
Sorry, okay. So the ad then went on to say, active healthcare professional, enjoys exploring NW, which I think is the Northwest, interested in conversation, good times with someone who is intelligent, thoughtful, and full of humour. Must be emotionally, fiscally mature. If you are seeking a bright, funny lady who is adventurous enough to advertise, please apply.
Schmidty,
Which
I'm
is
confused. Was it her mum did this or did she do
her
it?
mum and a friend.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
her mum and a friend. Good. I did
Yeah.
understand that
On
correctly.
behalf of her.
On behalf of her, which is a bit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the rest of the
Oh,
ad
got
reads
it.
better.
That's
but
the
I'm
bit
still,
I missed. Yeah, right.
Right, that's it. Got it. So they've done it on
Yep.
behalf of Susan.
Yeah, but I'm still not quite over the overweight but not over life burn. I mean, if that
Yeah,
were me,
yeah.
I'd be pretty pissed off about it. Anyway. So whilst I'm not a fan of the copywriting duo here, the ad actually did work because she got a reply from Michael Kuhnhausen. His reply, hi,
That
different.
sounds suspicious.
It's just his
Hi,
name.
different.
Well, because
That's
she
what
called
she signed
herself
off.
different. Something different she called
Right.
herself, or someone different. So he
Right.
said, hi, different. My name is Mike. I'm a 39-year-old divorced white male. Great. I enjoy most things in nature, from wandering in the ape caves in Mount Helens to walking on the beach at sunset. He went on to
Wow.
say, I like
romantic.
pina
Pina
coladas.
colada. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Actually, he didn't. But it sounded good, and Susan got in contact with him. And cautious at first, Susan and Michael basically just talked on the phone for a lot, actually. I think she said it was like 100 hours of phone call conversations as they got to know one another. And she said she was impressed that he wanted to talk about the deeper things, and she liked the sound of his voice. He also told her that he was a combat veteran and had served in the Vietnam War. Now, so, whilst they spent 100 hours on the phone, and, I mean, that's when you think about it, I don't know what the billing system of phone calls in 1988 in America was, but I know that if we'd spent hours on the phone like that, my mum would that phone bill would have been huge.
It's so true.
I don't think she
She
was
would
living
have
with her
known it
parents.
was
She
you.
was 33 or something at the time. After 100 hours of chatting on the phone, they finally met face to face and they hit it off. They got on really well. They spent about a year courting and they went on nice dates. They'd go hiking, and there was someone talked about a date where they were feeding ducks and, just out in the great outdoors. They had a nice time and it was all very good, and they got married. But they got married like just about within a year of meeting. So they weren't mucking around.
Wow, that's true love.
It's fast in some ways, but then again, she was 33 or something, and he was 39, and it was 1988 when everyone was expected to be married. So, maybe it wasn't that odd. Anyway, so they honeymooned in Reno, Nevada, because Michael liked to gamble on the slots and Susan liked Michael. So that was all okay.
What?
Oh, she was just happy with her new
Do you
husband,
think?
right?
Yeah.
So she's just happy to do
No, it
whatever
just
he
sounds
wants.
like a shit start to the
I
marriage.
suppose it'd be like going on a honeymoon to Vegas.
Vegas,
It's
yeah.
just kind of hotels.
Vegas on a budget kind of thing.
But when they got home, it didn't take very long for Mike to sort of start to show his true colours, and the honeymoon was both figuratively and literally over. Unfortunately, Michael became a bit less like the man that Susan had thought he was and gotten to know before they married. He was a pretty unhappy kind of person, and it unfortunately was reflected in his behaviour. Also, it didn't help that Susan found out that he was a bit of a truth stretcher when it came to.
I haven't heard about one of those for a while.
I know. The other day, someone said something, and I sat there thinking, "What's that thing I used to say about truth?" I couldn't remember. Anyway, it came back to me. Truth stretcher, and he was a bit of a truth stretcher. He had told her that he was a combat veteran in Vietnam, but she found paperwork from the army that said that he was a switchboard operator. So not quite the same thing. And whilst it's a very important job, I'm sure, it wasn't combat.
It's just a very different job.
Yeah, but it's a communications job, right? So he could have made that sound really important because he would have been doing all sorts of
I'm
communication.
sure she wouldn't have judged him either way, so he just didn't
I
need
can't
to
marry
make
you
that
because
shit
you
up.
didn't.
She was
serve
already
combat.
married to him, and I read this one thing about him not being a war veteran in every article pretty much about this. So I think the significance was that he'd lied to her. So I think it just is one of those little data points that people use to underline the kind of red flag, if you like.
I'm more concerned about him dragging her on a honeymoon to Reno so he can play the slot machines and her going just because she likes him. Like, that's a red flag.
It's what you do when you love someone. As a civvy, he didn't have an illustrious career, unfortunately. He worked at Fantasy Adult Video Store as a supervisor of the janitors. How's that for a job?
What?
I am the supervisor of
How
the
many
janitors.
janitors did they need?
Oh, imagine
think
being
they
a
were
janitor at
chained.
an adult store. I feel like there's something.
I know, right? How disgusting.
There's people making messes all over that place if they need so many janitors that they need a supervisor.
Get your mop and bucket out.
I'm pretty
Your
sure
face
I talk
says it
about
all,
that.
Swanee.
It's not great. I think somewhere in this I talk about how gross that would be as a job.
I
I'm
haven't
sure.
frequented many. Like I really haven't been in many. But when I was at uni in Canberra, which has its own sort of rather what's the word? Rather open
Scene?
sort of, yes. We used to be able to go to like an X-rayed shop, and there was a peep a peep show there.
Yes.
And we would go and we would have pizza, porn and peep. That was like a night out where a group of us would go. And I remember being, in reference to the janitor, you'd go into, it was like literally putting coins, and then there was someone sort of performing in front of you. I'll never forget leaving with the friends that I was with, and someone had a bit of toilet paper stuck to their foot.
Outrageous.
The performer had toilet
No,
paper.
because we would be, we were in like these little, they're essentially toilet cubicles that we had to go into one to watch.
They're wank banks. They go in there and knock one out. Yeah,
and we were all like giggling when we
Which
left.
is why the
someone had
toilet paper was
stuck
sticking.
on there. And it was like, why they need toilet paper in a stall? Who would guess? But yeah, pizza, porn and peep at Canberra Uni. That was a thing.
Well, thank you for bringing a great deal of colour to that, because I didn't go on and on about it because I was like, well, what if it wasn't what I think it was? But I had exactly the same thought, which was
I don't know where you
Supervisor.
need janitors. Either that or it was a mega store, like it was huge and they needed a lot of cleanup, because you wouldn't need a suite of janitorial staff,
it was
right?
all about
You'd
the
either have the cleaning guy
wouldn't
or
need a
the janitor.
supervisor.
You wouldn't need to supervise the janitor.
The supervisor's the giveaway.
Yes.
this probably had private
Yes.
screening rooms, put it that way. And so if you
Yes.
were in a screening room to look at the new vids, then it needed a good clean afterwards.
I feel ripped off because mine was not a screening room so much as it was a screening cubicle. Oh my God.
Well, you don't need a lot of space. You just need enough room for, what is it, about 5-6 inches in front of you? You just,
I can honestly say I've never been back to 1/6.
But you can always go up more instead of out.
Well, it's quite a giggle at the
If
time.
you've got a big knob, instead of going out, because, you might not have space.
Just go up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just get an angle like diagonal. I don't know. How am I going to work this in here?
Angle it however you
How am I
want
going to work
to
this
suit
in
the
here?
space. Which is why they need so many janitors, because it could be anywhere.
oh,
Well, it's just like it's a lever.
Oh my God, how did it get there?
on the ceiling, on the walls, everywhere. So anyway, so he took his frustration out on poor old Susan. Now, he wasn't, I'll just be really clear, he was never physically violent towards Susan.
Oh, God.
But he bitched to her endlessly about her spending money, and I think she was probably the person who earned more too. Shouted at her if she wanted to go out with her friends, complained endlessly about how life was shit and would never improve. Like, he was just a real Debbie Downer. And, or as Susan put it herself, he saw life as a shit sandwich.
God.
She's very eloquent,
Yes.
I enjoy her turn of phrase. He wouldn't go out with her anymore and was constantly checking up on her, where she was and who she was with. So to all intents and purposes, he just basically turned into a controlling mofo. Susan would go out of her way to not do things to upset him because she just wanted an easy kind of going life. And all he did was chain smoke, and apparently he was also addicted to Diet Coke, which, in fairness, Swanee, I think you just
Give a guy a
described
break.
me when I was about
Picking on
29.
him.
Yeah, I was going to say, just totally describe me too, yeah.
Oh, certainly.
He sounds really cool. All of a sudden he sounds very sophisticated, if you don't mind me saying. A Diet Coke and a little durry, like,
I mean, obviously not from a buddy.
Oh, not from a buddy. Yeah, no one said he was drinking it from
No.
Too
the
far.
plastic buddy. I don't know. I've got an image of this really quite sophisticated guy with a small can, or maybe on ice, like squeeze
with
a
a
lemon,
Vogue, with a
a
Vogue
nice
menthol
ciggy.
or a
Yeah,
Mac,
yeah,
nice
Vogue
thin one.
Yeah.
What were they,
nice thin
Sobranis?
Vogue.
What they call the Sobranis?
I
Something
don't
like
remember
that.
his Vogue.
Vogues or but in Europe the thin ones were like Sobranis
Super
or something.
Slims?
Yeah, Super Slims. Yeah. That's what he'd smoke. He'd chain smoke. Yeah. Anyhow, I think that's where the comparison to you and I at 29 probably ends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ends.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mike.
Also, in fairness, he was 39 at the outset of this when we meet him, so he's not quite the same part of his life,
us.
time of his life as we were having.
No.
Anyway, so you would have thought that poor old Susan would have got over him pretty quickly, really, when you think about it. But she stayed with him for 17 years of marriage,
Wow.
and apparently they did have marriage counselling and all the rest of it. But eventually, Susan told him to piss off because she'd had enough, and he moved out of their home and he went and lived with his father. And Susan did realise that he was depressed and wanted him to be happy. But she also wanted to be happy for herself. So she just called time on it, which, is correct and the right thing to have done.
And I bet he just took it in his stride, bless him, with his
no
Diet Coke and ciggy,
Off he
and
went.
he just went,
I'll just
all right, love.
That's right. I said,
All right,
I said,
Dal.
Yep.
Dal. Well,
It's been fun.
it's been it's been fun.
I'll take my shit
All right.
sandwich and I'll be out of here. Yeah.
Don't mind me.
No. So he got the heave-ho.
You do you.
That's right, you do you. This is before you do you was a thing. So Michael got the heave-ho in September 2005. So off he goes.
2005, you say?
Yeah. I know you like to make notes on
I've got my little
timelines.
dates. Yes, I've got my dates, yeah.
So fast forward a year, and whilst the marriage had gone south and they were no longer connecting as a couple at all, she chucked him and that was that. Susan, I don't think, saw Michael as a threat to her. She's getting on with her life. She's working still. She's seeing the beginning of the opportunity to have a bit of freedom. She hasn't got this controlling dickhead around her anymore. As I said, he wasn't violent towards her prior. He was just a bit of a dick. So, unfortunately, she didn't see the need to change her locks or the code on the security alarm of her house, which also happened to be the date of their wedding.
That sounds bad.
It was the anniversary date, so 12/10. It was I think it's a lesson to all of us. Even if it seems like your ex is benign, change your locks and your alarm code.
Yeah.
So on the 6th of September 2006, Susan went off to get her hair done after work. So as I said, she's a year out from having Michael gone. She's decided to change her hair colour and have a fresh new look. She's just doing what she wants to do. Now, after she gets her hair done at this place, she heads back to her place in Portland, her house. And when she gets home, she, undoes the security alarm and goes into the mudroom and finds a note in the mudroom.
That's just stop.
So very American, isn't it? Mudroom.
A mudroom these days, if you have one in Australia, like you're fancy and you're putting a
That's
mudroom
mudding.
Yeah.
Yes, but is this fancy or is this just because they live somewhere that's really cold and really
Muddy
wet and they
boots.
need muddy boots because they're
Portland,
in
Oregon. Yeah, so I think it's just
Okay.
that like little vestibule type
Yeah, it
area
is a
off
little
a
bit,
house
yeah.
where you take your shoes off before you walk into the
Yep.
house. But it does sound cool,
mudroom.
doesn't it?
She's
Oh,
not.
mudroom.
She's not in a big mud bath.
No.
Living it up.
No.
Like Lewis Litt.
Champagne.
No. So Michael's left a note in the mudroom saying that he couldn't look after the cats and he was going to stay at the beach for a bit because he hadn't been sleeping well and he'd see her on Friday or Saturday. And the thing was, he still came round on occasion and he did some house sitting for her for the cats, right? So she just thought, oh, okay, because she'd asked him to do that and he's like, no. Nah. So she didn't think anything of it. She, as I said, turns the alarm off. She heads into the house. She did then turn around and go back out to get some mail from the letterbox, comes back, and at some point she notices that the curtains are all drawn and she thinks that's a bit weird because I'd left all the curtains open. I do, like she's a creature of habit.
Oh,
I don't do that.
This sounds creepy.
It sounds creepy and I understand it because I don't do that either. Yeah, so I'm like, but again, she sort of didn't think anything of it or put it out of her mind, put it that way. So she goes into the house and she walks towards her bedroom and she's thinking, something's not right. The room was dark and it was not usually dark and it all seemed quite off, but then again, she ignored her intuition. Now, before I get on to what happens next, I just want to call out a book called The Gift of Fear, Survival Signals That Protect Us from Violence by Gavin DeBecker. This book has been around, I think, since 1997. And basically it talks about the predictability of violence and describes pre-incident indicators called pins, that he calls pins. By being aware of and noticing these pre-incident indicators, pre-incident indicators, you can predict violent situations and avoid them pretty much. And it also talks about our own gift of fear, as in the instinct that tells us.
I got a massive gift. I'm scared of everything. Yeah. The amount of people I must offend on not a daily basis, but like when I'll walk across roads. And
I know. That's remember when we first
sometimes. Met. Oh my God! Yeah, I'm scared of everything. Yeah, I'm scared.
You were terrified of me.
I'll give you a pin.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, that was so close. What?
Yeah.
Did you see that? No.
Did you see what?
Oh fuck! Fucking hell!
See.
Perfect timing. You got my text then, Tony.
For the listeners, I turned around and my husband was silently standing in the doorway. It gave me a frigging heart attack just talking about exactly this. I felt the chill. I felt cold. And it's cold.
It's your gift of fear.
Oh, it's cold and I turn. Excuse me a moment.
Oh, you do well on the savannah.
The whole thing about the Gavin de Becker book is saying listen to your fears. And so, Swanee, you probably will survive an attack from Wiggers because you are listening.
I'm ready for it.
I don't know about ready for it, but you are certainly listening to your instinct. And
I've got to tell you, I follow this girl on Instagram, this woman out of the US, and I probably wouldn't be able to find her if I tried because I don't actually know her name. But it comes up, usually daily with a tip. And I would say 8 times out of 10, I already know. Like she'll go and say, you need to do this. And I'd literally go, yep, I know that one. Yep.
Captain Obvious.
Yeah. I'm often think, yep, got it. Yep, I'd do that. And occasionally I think, must make note. But it's like
Add that one.
I'm pretty cluey and I'm thinking, I bet you no one else I know is even remotely interested in this.
Can I ask you, if you are parked next to a van, do you walk away or get in from your passenger side door to avoid
crawl through?
I read that the other day. Someone said you should do that because it could be an assailant trying to take you.
Push in.
Yeah. Do you do that or you just walk away and get a coffee?
No, the one that I was talking about the other day was like when you look at people and this has happened to me before where you have to make eye contact or you backtrack. I'm a great one of that. If you think someone's following you, you turn back and you walk and then you watch them. I'm very good at watching in the reflections. I've tried to teach my kids that as well, like watching in reflections in shop windows or on cars if someone's following you or whatever else. I'm kind of into that. And what you'll do is you stop suddenly and then change directions and then you keep walking, but you're watching their reflection to see if they continue to track back and follow you.
I watch people and I don't know whether I think I've always done it. I don't think it's just because we do a crime podcast.
No, I've done it.
I think I've always done it. But the other day we were walking the dog and there was a bloke and it was an awful day, right? It was pouring with rain. So it was not lovely sunny weather where you'd expect someone to be in a park, 25 metres behind you.
Yes.
And this guy walks towards us at first. He sort of looked at us and I looked at him. And then, of course, because it's pouring with rain, we've got our coats on and hoods and stuff. And I turned around and he was behind us. And I just thought, this is weird. Why are you hanging around in the pouring rain? In a park.
That's unusual.
So I was like, Tony, watch that guy. And Tony's like, what are you on about? I'm like, seriously? So anyway, he didn't try to kill us or anything, but I have that same thing where, and in fairness, I haven't been attacked, but then again, you wonder how many times have you avoided it by making eye contact with someone or being noticed, like letting them know that you've seen them and you've clocked it. Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah. They say to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing you. I'm looking at you. So
and always scratch them.
Oh,
get the epithelials under the fingernails and shit.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a really good one.
You've always got to do that.
Always got to scratch them or bite them or something.
Maybe if they get close enough and that you're frightened, because otherwise you're just assaulting someone.
Yeah, I must keep that in mind because I'm always ready to go. I'm always on high alert. Sometimes I'll come home and I'll tell a story. Everyone will go, yeah, we thought that might happen, because then I'll be like, and then sort of I was ready to go and then this happened and then nothing happens. Yeah. And Jeremy like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, so unfortunately for Susan, she didn't trust her instinct and she didn't turn around and get out of the house as quick as she could. So as she entered the bedroom, a man who had been hiding behind the door jumped out swinging a claw hammer and hit her in the temple.
What? That escalated quickly.
Just hang on, bear with me. This guy, who was a stranger to her, was 5'9", and he was dressed in khaki pants, a baseball hat, and he was wearing marigolds, yellow rubber gloves.
Oh, my God.
And I think I read he was something like 180 pounds. Now, just before I go on, I want to insert the following soundbite as a precursor to what happens next.
Okay.
Right.
I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Go, Susan.
Yes, Susan.
Gotta love Liam.
Susan, and I can't remember the name of the podcaster I was listening to who made the reference about Susan having a particular set of skills, but she did. She did. So, someone on YouTube. So I just thought that was quite funny. Now, Susan was quite a small lady. She was 5'4", so quite short, little lady. But as mentioned before in her dating profile, she was on the heavy side. So called overweight but not over life at 33. At this point, she's 51, and I'm going to hazard a guess she's a little bit more overweight and not over life. And so apparently she was outweighing her attacker.
Or possibly a little bit more over life and just going, fuck this, mate.
She was not. But she was 5 stone heavier than her attacker point in time,
Wow.
which turned out to be an unusual advantage.
Good on her.
Also, she had terrible knees, unfortunately. She'd had some surgeries and stuff. So ordinarily, you'd think, no offense, Susan, short, pretty fat lady with bad knees, 51. And you think this is game over, right? There's a guy, hammer, it's all going to happen. But Susan was trained in self-defense because being an ER nurse, she'd had to handle herself quite a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
And she'd done things like cracked people's chests open, and
she's like a fucking ninja, isn't she?
she's
dealt with crazy,
dealt with drug-addled people.
Yep.
She's had people, attack, it's all that sort of stuff. So she's actually learned how to handle herself pretty well. Now, I will say, in fairness, it's not quite the occupational violence training that I had, but hers was a bit more on the physical side. Mine was more theoretical. But anyway, not to say she was a black belt or anything, but she did have some understanding of techniques to defend herself, and she had a particular set of skills. Now, knowing that she would be safest staying close to him so he couldn't swing the hammer at her again, she basically rams into him and slams him up against the wall. And it's in a hallway, can you imagine down a hallway bedroom? Yeah. And I think that's really remarkable because most people would have been immediately
run away.
Get away from here. Like, how do I get out? But she just went head on into him. And she fought him back, basically. So he didn't quite expect her to do that. So he starts fighting with her. She starts fighting back. And they tussle, and this tussle goes on for ages. And at some point in it, while she's trying to push him and he's holding her, he says, and he only said these 2 words to her in the entire time she was there with him: "You're strong." And at that point, she realised that, because he didn't say, "Where are your jewels? Where's your money?" He said, "You're strong." And she thought, "You're here to kill me." And she was absolutely convinced that he was there to kill her. And she knew that she was fighting for her life. So it actually created this enormous surge of adrenaline in her because she was not interested in dying that day. And as it turns out, she may be overweight, but she is not over life.
Go, Susan.
That's right.
Go, Susan.
So she fights him back and then
finish him.
She manages to get the claw hammer off him at one point. And I was reading this thing that her father, who was a carpenter, had said to her that a hammer was quite good for using in self-defense, but use the claw end of it because you'll do more damage to someone or hurt more.
Oh, no.
I'm not feeling comfortable with this.
No, it's okay. It's not too bad. So she manages to get a couple of smacks at him.
She hits his fingers
with the claw end.
She's remember 5 inches shorter than him, but she's just hitting at him basically. She's not hammering him in the head, beating him to death like something out of a film, but she's hammering him a bit. And she got him in the head with the claw end a bit, and then
Oh.
she's saying to him, who sent you? Who sent you?
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything more. And then he gets the hammer off her, right? So he grabs the hammer back off her. And so she grabs him by the throat and she starts to squeeze.
Oh.
And she squeezes and she watches his face turn purple. And then she watches his face turn blue. And of course, being an ER nurse, she knows that if she keeps going, she's going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So she stops and she lets go of him. And she tries to run away from him at this point because she thinks he's probably decommissioned enough for her to get away.
Mm.
Unfortunately, he gets up and he catches her in the hallway and he punches her in the face like repeatedly, and he like splits her lip and knocks her to the ground, and he's quite savagely punching her at this point.
Jesus.
And she thinks, to Rui's point, I'm going to die now. Like she remembers looking up and he's got the hammer standing over her, and she thinks this is it. So she's like, you know what? If I'm going to die, I'm going to make sure I've got the epithelials. So she starts biting him. She pulls him down onto her and she starts biting him everywhere she can. The arm, the thigh, the genitals through his zip. She is going because she's decided she's going to leave her bite marks on him, or she's going to get DNA all over the place, right? So she's going nuts. So the epithelials are happening.
Yes.
And so she's got him down on the ground and they're having this tussle. Now, this fight has gone on now for about 14 minutes. Can you imagine?
Wow, that's a long fight.
I know. It's
like Clash of the Titans or something.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? You just think 14 minutes for real? But I'm guessing she's worked out the time she's walked inside to the time later, anyway.
I'm surprised at his level of commitment to this. I mean, hers is obvious because she wants to survive. His, you just be going, oh, righto, I'm done.
No, look, love, it's not worth the effort, yeah.
I'll get you another time.
Yeah. I'll swing by another guy. This is... Yeah. I didn't think this was going to be this hard.
No.
Exactly. Far out.
But eventually she manages to get a leg over him and she somehow flips him onto his stomach and she's pinned him down. So she's on his back and she's pinned him down and she gets him in a chokehold and she says, who sent you? Who sent you? And she says something like, tell me who sent you and I'll get you a fucking ambulance. But he won't answer. And he keeps trying to flip her off and he keeps moving and he's grunting and growling and carrying on. And then eventually he stops moving. And after that, she got up and she took the hammer and she went next door to the neighbours and she had the hammer with her. And the neighbours...
Susan, what have you done?
Susan, you're right. Susan comes in, she's bleeding. Remember, she's been hit in the head with the hammer. So
got a hammer.
Bleeding down the head. She's been punched in the face. She's got swelling eye. She's got broken lip. She's in a bad way. She's come to the door. She's got a hammer in her hands. And she's like, oh, can you call 911? Guy next door's trying to kill me. Words to that effect.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah. Come on in.
Well,
hang on a minute.
So the neighbour, they're like, oh, no worries.
Come on in, love.
So the neighbour calls 911 and they say, oh, look, there was an intruder in the neighbour's house and he had a hammer and our neighbour is in our house now and she's bleeding and she has the hammer. And the dispatcher at some point says, does she need an ambulance? And they said, no, she's a nurse. She says to call an ambulance for the guy. He may be dead. So she's just like, nah, she's a nurse. She's cool. And in that conversation, it's a bit longer, the dispatcher conversation, they tell the dispatcher that the hammer in question is on the counter and they said, don't touch it, just leave it exactly where it is because it's evidence, right? And then they say that she thinks that her husband may have sent someone to kill her. And so she's immediately saying, I think Mike had something to do with this. And this is all in the 911 call, which is then fed back to the police.
Okay.
So Susan's taken to the hospital, of course, and treated for her injuries. And the police head into the house and find her attacker dead on the floor. And they then start the investigation. So she has definitely killed her attacker. And who was this guy? I hear you ask.
Exactly.
Who was
he?
His name was Edward Dalton Haffey. And Ed was a Vietnam vet who'd been born into quite a wealthy family and he used to like to play tennis and he had a pretty good upbringing. But he'd fallen into a life of crime and, to your point about his motivation for sticking in there, crack cocaine abuse.
That's the way I could keep going.
It didn't take the police long to find any of that out either because he had a rap sheet. So Ed had his ID on him, but he'd also left a backpack in the basement of the house. And the backpack had some bits and pieces in it, but of particular interest to the police was a daybook, which had an entry from Monday, September the 4th, and this attack was on the 6th of September. That said, call Mike. And then there was...
Oh, Jesus, a number?
Mike's new phone number was in a manila folder, which was also in the bag. Yeah. Deirdre Chambers, what a coincidence.
Yeah,
Call
wow.
Mike, because otherwise if I don't write down, I'll forget.
Yeah.
How on earth could those two have known each other?
It's a really common name, though.
He may as well have had a big sign in the bag that said, Mike paid me to kill his wife.
Exactly right.
And I think it just shows to how much they underestimated Susan taking incriminating evidence into the crime scene. But apparently Ed did have a near fatal amount of crack cocaine in his system at the time of his death. So maybe he just wasn't...
I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
That's why he could keep going.
That's why he could keep going, and also why he wasn't thinking things through. And he certainly never imagined getting himself killed. Or getting killed himself, rather.
No, he thought it was easy work, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're strong. You thought he was just going in for the...
Could you imagine?
She's
Jeez, you're strong. You shouldn't laugh. Because it's not like, you're strong. In my mind, it's, oh, you're strong. Didn't see that coming. In case you're feeling sorry for Ed Haffey wasn't just a hapless junkie criminal who wandered into a murder plot and got himself killed by underestimating his intended victim. No, sir. He had priors. In 1991, Ed had arranged for his ex-girlfriend, Georgia Lee Dutton, to be murdered. Unfortunately, that plot had worked and her body was later found near Roseburg. He had pled guilty to conspiracy to commit aggravated murder and he did 9 years in jail for it. After getting out in 2003, he moved to Portland and got a job at, you guessed it, Fantasy Adult Video, where Mike Kuhnhausen hired him as a cleaner.
Oh.
Back in the wank rooms again, yeah. So Mike must have got wind that his mate Ed had somewhat unexpectedly ended up dead at Susan's because the night of the attack he went out and he bought a gun. 2 days later he left a suicide note for his father saying very eloquently, all I ever wanted was to be loved, and every time I had it, I fucked it up. Well, yes, indeed, you did, Mike. However, instead of shooting himself...
All I ever wanted was to be loved.
And every time I had it, I fucked it up.
I fucked it up.
Good for you, Mike. That's right.
Is that what's that supposed to endear? Like, are we supposed to be...
Pity me, poor me.
Yeah, I fucked it up, not they.
No, he fucked it up.
I mean... Yeah.
Describing life as a shit sandwich probably didn't help.
Also, like, every time I tried to murder someone, I fucked it up. Like, God.
I can't get anything right.
That's it. I was just going to say, would it have been better if his note had said something like, I just can't get anything right. I can't even get my wife killed,
Yeah.
But instead of shooting himself, Mike ran away. Yep, he went on the lam. But unlike the alleged person that we spoke about at the outset of this show, he didn't go into the highlands of Oregon. He just sort of wandered around for a couple of days, and then he got picked up by the Clackamas County Sheriff's Department on the 13th of September.
That's a good name.
Was he even hiding?
Yeah, not really.
It's just wandering around aimlessly.
Clackamas, not Clackashack.
I fucked that up. I fucked that up.
Went
in the lamb and I fucked that up.
He went somewhere like some medical centre where he was going to check himself in or something. Oh, I fucked it up. I've got to go to rehab. Oh. So the police were pretty sure he'd organised the hit, and so they arrested him for conspiracy to commit murder. I think they put a special order over him too or something because they're a bit worried about the suicide thing. But anyway, Didn't really matter. Susan filed...
fucked that up anyway.
He fucked that up too. Susan filed for divorce the day after he was arrested and changed her name to Walters in 2009 once the divorce was final. So at the outset of this, I went to call her Susan Walters, which is her name now. Okay. And that's when I thought, actually, I'm not sure that was her maiden name.
Maiden name, okay.
Yep. And look, it's not surprising that she filed for divorce the minute they arrested him pretty much because she had immediately thought that he was responsible from the moment the man showed up in her house. And she was right.
That's it, Mike. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. OVAH, over.
Over. I'm divorcing you.
That was the last straw.
That was the last straw. I didn't like
that. That hitman with the hammer was the last straw.
Too heavy-handed.
There's a lot I can forgive, but not that.
And I bet you're drinking buddies of Diet Coke now. That's it.
We aren't donezo. Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
So as it turns out, if you're wondering why Mike did it, what the motive could have been, he had become unemployed from fantasy video sometime prior.
Oh, life insurance?
Well, no. He found out that Susan had actually changed her life insurance beneficiary to her brother. And that might have spurred him on to do something drastic because they had a house that they'd paid off. So even though if they got divorced and they, sold it and split the assets, he would have got 150 grand because it was worth 300. I guess he just figured if we knock her off, I'll get it all because they were still married. So technically he still had that asset effect.
The house. Yeah.
Mike denied, of course, having anything to do with the attack on Susan. He told the police that just because he knew Ed, it didn't mean he did anything. What a coincidence. Yeah. Must have been a Deirdre Chambers-like coincidence.
Absolutely.
Except Ed somehow knew the alarm code.
Oh.
And he'd gone into the house, and according to the records of the security system, he disarmed the house while Susan was still at work, which means someone had told him the code. But Mike said, no, I disarmed it.
Wasn't me.
No, it was me. I disarmed it when I put that note in the mudroom, and then I put it back on. So, I don't know what you're on about, and I don't know how this guy got in there. I mean, when I disarmed it and put my co-conspirator into the house in wait to kill my wife, that could have been it. But no, it didn't happen. Sadly for Mike, there were a couple of witnesses that came forward, and one of them told the police that Ed had asked him to kill Susan for $5,000, which he politely declined.
Oh, that old chestnut.
Oh.
We've had that before.
Yes.
Will you do it? Will you do it?
Remember Swanee, you had the lady who wanted her daughter-in-law killed, and she was like shopping around for a killer for ages?
Yep.
Yeah. It was a bit like that, but this guy was an ex-prison mate of Ed's, and so they caught up on the outside, and he's like, do you want to help me kill this bird? And he's like, no, thanks. They referred to it as an insurance scam, but there was no insurance. It's the house money. Ed and he had gone to meet someone, and, of course, when he saw photos of Mike in the news, he realised that the person that they'd gone to meet was Mike. So he shopped him. And Mike wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer when it comes to orchestrating his wife's attempted murder. So Mike pled guilty to soliciting Susan's murder, though he always said he didn't do anything, and he just took the plea deal to lower his time because obviously he didn't think that he was going to get away with it. Because,
Fuck that up too.
That's why I was laughing. Can't even get a good defence. Fuck that up too. That's right.
Oh.
He was given 10 years in prison, which doesn't really sound like much, but there you have it. He also tried to sue two people who'd given testimony to his involvement, but he didn't win because he fucked that up too.
Fuck that up too.
Oh, Mike.
Oh, Mike. And as if you might
really
have
guessed, are a dickhead.
It's one of those things. He didn't need to organise a hit on anyone while he was in jail, so he got his sentence reduced for good behaviour, of course. In the meantime, though, while he's unsuccessfully suing people from jail, Susan, who from the time she chucked him out of her house had been enjoying her freedom for 5 minutes and moving on, she's now got PTSD. So she found herself always watching the doors in restaurants, circling the block in case she was being followed, changing her routine constantly, and just generally being paranoid that he'd try again or some criminal associate of his was going to try and get her. Yeah, which you would, right?
Yeah.
She'd been a very bubbly and outgoing personality before the attack, and now she described herself as a broken plate glued back together.
Oh.
She moved house in 2014, which surprised me that it took her that long, if I'm honest. I would have been out of that house immediately. The house she moved to had a gravel drive so that she could hear people approaching, and she bought a gun.
Nice.
And she learned to shoot. And she said if he came here, he wasn't going to get close enough to hurt me.
I don't doubt her. She wouldn't fuck it up.
No.
Boom.
I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Well done, Susan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're laughing, but she did say...
The Susanator.
She did, in her own words, say she was doing a life sentence for picking a bad husband.
Yes. Well said. Well said.
True, but as it turned out, she only did a sentence of 8 years because Mike died from cancer. That chain smoking might have had something to do with it. Just 3 months shy of his release from prison.
Fucked that up too.
Yeah.
What sort of a loser waits almost the whole length of their prison sentence and then dies? Do it in the first week. Save yourself the trauma.
It was about a week before his birthday too, so fuck that up too. Yeah.
Poor Mike. Not really.
Look, and in fairness, it would have been horrendous for her if he'd got out and she didn't know where he was. That would have
God.
You'd just be going
I think
mad
that's why
from
I'm
the stress of
comfortable
it.
laughing about the fact that he died the way he did.
Yeah. I'm not sure we should use the word loser, but I think it fits quite well here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's what I was having post comment guilt, but
sometimes we do, but he was a loser,
yeah.
Unfortunately, and she's right. She was doing a life sentence for picking a bad
he was
husband.
also just an asshole.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the loser bit.
And he was
whatever.
an asshole before he tried to kill her too. He was just an asshole. She's incredible, though. I've got to tell you.
Yeah, good on her. I like her.
Yeah.
Oh, you will.
Don't fuck with Susan.
Do not fuck with Susan. In fact, I think I saw an article called "Don't Fuck with Susan."
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm not sure that Mike would have gone after her because she was not someone to mess with. So she didn't face any legal ramifications for killing Ed because, of course, it was considered self-defense.
Thank goodness. I had a terrible feeling when you were saying that she'd gone next door, and I thought, is this someone? I don't want it to be. That will just really frustrate me.
Yeah, no,
terrible.
Yeah.
But legally no. But her morals and her dedication to the preservation of life took a really big toll too. Being an ER nurse, dedicating herself to people and the welfare of people, taking a life, was really significant for her.
It would have been, but it's obviously what saved her life. If she hadn't done that and been that training background.
When I've heard her talk about it, she has really struggled with it. And so back in 2008, she was awarded with a Civilian Medal of Heroism. But again, she didn't really see herself as heroic, and she just saw herself as someone who did what they had to do to survive.
Yeah.
And she worked worked as a nurse up until the end of 2014. And I was sort of working it out about retirement age, I think. She's done work with the local police and she advocates against domestic abuse.
I bet she does.
Her boss once told her, when in the context of that award, they're not calling you a hero because you killed a man. They're calling you a hero because they want to believe, given the same circumstances, they too might survive.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty impressive. She also received a letter from Ed Haffey's family, the man she killed.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't got it to quote verbatim, so the précis of it for me was they basically said they have no bad feelings for her, that she survived a guy who'd done some pretty bad shit and in killing him saved others from a worse fate. So clearly no love lost there from the family.
No.
Yeah. That's really good of them to do that, though.
I think so.
Because a lot of people wouldn't.
She was struck. She still carries, I think, a degree of guilt over the whole thing.
Yeah.
In researching her story, I came across a Reddit thread where people were talking about it. And one comment referenced her victim statement, which I haven't been able to get down in it, track down in its entirety, unfortunately. Apparently she spoke for 65 minutes and she held up pictures of herself in hospital after the attack showing her bruising. And she said something like because Mike's in the room, right, when she's giving this statement.
Yeah.
And he had said something like, I'd heard from the police she was okay. And she holds up this image of her and she's got a massive black eye and she's got a split lip and she's just looking terrible. She's like, does this look like okay to you? And then at one point she says to him, if I ever believed you deserved to be dead, I would at least have had the balls to kill you myself.
Oh.
You fuck up.
She is quite the woman. In June 2023, Susan found a lump on her neck that was diagnosed as lymphoma. But it seems Susan is not going gently into that good night at any time soon. She told everyone on her, and this is her Facebook page, is called Nurse Kills Hitman by Susan Walters, that she is in remission. And that was in January 2024. So she's absolutely indomitable.
I've just gone and had a look at them.
At what? At them,
Mike
and Susan, yeah.
Susan, yeah.
As I started to dig through the threads, I realised Susan herself had actually replied to some of the comments in Reddit.
Oh.
So I need to share some of these with you as they are the bomb.
and look, I'm not good at referencing Reddit, right? I'm not very good at citing it. So on a thread where it said
I don't know what that means.
a hitman came to kill Susan Kuhnhausen. She survived. He didn't. Dreams in Red posted, a patient threatened her at work once after the incident. She laughed and told him to Google her name. Badass.
Oh.
To which Susan herself replied, he told me that he could snap my neck and not think a thing about it. A security was surrounding him to be escorted off property. There was a collective gasp from co-workers who knew my story. When the electronic doors were about to close, I said, you might want to Google me first. The door closed and co-workers burst out in laughter. A new guy didn't know and asked what was that about. Later he said, I thought she was just a sweet grandma lady. And
sweet grandma lady.
And she does. She looks like a sweet grandma lady who will fuck you up if you're not careful. On True Crime Discussion, there was another one that says, and I think you boys will enjoy this, and it came from Surviving the Unthinkable, the Susan Kuhnhausen story. The hitman was Edward Haffey, a 59-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And apparently he was paid $50,000 to kill her, or promised $50,000. But
that's more doing pretty well for being the janitor supervisor.
Yeah, it's a lot of crack cocaine.
Hadn't he lost his job? Yeah, it's a lot of crack cocaine.
Yeah. MZJ453 wrote, how was this not a biopic starring Kathy Bates?
Yes, perfect.
To which Susan herself replies, I know, right? If you know her, clue her in. So that is the Susan Walters story. There you go.
Good on her.
That bit about you saying she looks like I was a cheery granny or something. There's, when you Google it, there's all these really lovely photos of her smiling and looking really happy, and there's this one.
Yeah.
There's just a
that's
look
Kathy
about
Bates.
that, like,
that's Kathy Bates.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
That's Kathy Bates in Misery, and that's the look she gave to the guy who said, "I could just break your neck and not think twice about it." As she's just finished saying, "Google me."
Yeah.
How good's that?
Oh, funny lady. Wow,
So
that's a good one. We like Susan.
Yeah, and Susan, if you ever hear this, I know you don't need our validation or whatever, but, you know, you're incredible inspiration to a lot of people. And I just wish we were able to tell more stories about people who've survived things like this, because unfortunately more of our stories are the other way around.
I mean, that day, imagine for her, whatever she set out to start, to do that day and all the plans she had, never would you think you're going to be killing someone who's come to kill you. My God.
Fighting for your life. Literally in your
for
hallway.
15 minutes.
Oh. I know. I mean, I can hardly even walk up a flight of stairs, let alone fight someone for my life. It must be the adrenaline, right? Because
what would you do, Schmidty? Would you just say, "Get down here next to you. I'm just going to bite you and scratch and I don't have the energy.
Probably would just sit on their face and smother them. Like, I like the fact that she was her weight was an advantage. I feel that's
it was.
Good for me.
I think that's a good thing, right? No, but it's true. I think.
Could you just make it like a 2-minute fight, and then whoever's winning at that point wins, and the
just
other one has
time
to.
On it.
Yeah. So it doesn't go on for another 13 minutes of exhaustion.
Oh my God! Can you imagine it? You'd just be absolutely shattered at the end of that. And then, I could just picture her walking to her neighbours, like just stunned.
Do you find that sometimes in the movies where it goes a little bit long and you think, I think we could have wrapped this up a little bit earlier? That's exactly how I feel. It's like, when it starts, you think, we're nearly there, and then you think,
it's still not done.
It's still not done. I mean, we know we know who's going to die in this situation or who's going to.
There's the Kathy Bates
probably
scene, right?
Unbelievable.
Now.
It's the bit where she chokes him, right? And then he's down and she tries to leave. And you think, that's the moment in the film where you think, okay, then they're drawing it out too.
How did they recover from that?
You get over that so quickly. That's right.
This is a little bit sort of indulgent with this fight scene.
Yeah,
we don't need
this. Actually, turned out correct. But I must admit, when I read the accounts of the fight, I did have exactly that kind of movie.
Yes.
Movie idea.
Because it goes through different, and like where they move, and then there's the next section, then there's the next section.
And then getting down the hallway.
This will be the last section, down the hallway.
Yeah.
And then her sort of walking out of the house at the end, exhausted next door, just going,
what the?
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Probably
Can you call
call
911?
911.
Better
We've got
call
a
him an
dead body
ambulance.
next
He's
door.
dead, I
Can
bet.
you you put the kettle on and call 911 in that order?
Oh, love. Yeah. Can you imagine, like, I said pet, I said love, I said doll, whatever. Oh,
Listen to reason.
I didn't see that going this morning on my bingo card.
I wonder if,
Exactly.
like, a couple of times I
You
read
reckon
about
you've had a bad day?
him having a near fatal amount of cocaine in his system. I wonder, did the fight actually save him from dying from a cocaine overdose? Because he's like wearing it out and then gets choked out? Or, would he have died anyway? Probably not. I don't know.
Does he get charged with being a drug cheat in that fight? Like if you're in the Olympics and you were boxing, you'd get banned for life. No more, mate.
Too many stimulants on him. That's right. I mean, how
Performance
terrifying.
enhancing drugs. Oh,
It's sort of like slapstick, but also terrifying. You know what I mean? Like it's
100%.
It's.
I don't know how you recover from something like that.
Ever happened to you though? Like when she talks about going to the house.
What a violation!
When sometimes you walk in, there's just something that feels slightly off.
Yes,
and
I know when someone's been in my house. I know.
Yes,
always when someone's been in my house.
Yeah, but something could be just slightly different, or a door will be
something.
Something. And you go, oh, I don't like that idea, or I don't like that feeling. Or sometimes you catch something in the corner of your eye and you think someone's walked down like behind you in a hallway or whatever else, and you go, oh, and it was just there was nothing there.
It could be haunted.
That little moment where you go, oh, did I? No. Or I hear something and I yell, hello, and there's no one here. And I was like, I'm sure I knew, I recognise the sound.
I know you're there.
A particular, do you know how like your doors in your house sound, or when running water sounds like, there's all the sounds of your home
house. That's right.
That you know.
Yeah.
So, for instance, a door will go and you go, one of the kids has just walked in. And then you walk downstairs, I don't know, 10 minutes later.
There's no one there.
And there's no kid there. And you go, oh, I would have sworn, like in testimony, that was my door closing.
Just like living in the house in Frome, in Radstock, rather.
God.
The house in Radstock. Yeah.
Scary.
Well, except there we actually heard footsteps at 2:00 in the morning. That was a ghost.
Terrifying.
That was just the ghost. That's all right. Swanee's like, what was that? I'm like, it's the ghost. Go to sleep.
Oh, I'm sure I handled that well. That was when I used to try and touch your leg in the bed to make sure that you were still there.
That's
and
when you reached out in silence to see if I was there. And I was like,
are you there? It's like, am I really seeing this or hearing this or feeling this?
Yes, you were. Yeah, you were. Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. Anyway, thoughts on Mike? Do you think he got his comeuppance? I mean, he fucked it up. He fucked it all up.
Fucked it all up. I think in terms of sentencing, like something that I've never thought of in all of this podcasting we've done, 200 and whatever episodes, is making someone do their whole sentence and dying just before they get released. I kind of like that.
It was very karmic, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. Couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke.
Yeah.
He just sounds like a piece of work in the sense that...
no work.
Oh,
it sounds like Mr. No Work, actually.
I can't. I'm just going to have to kill her.
Not even me.
All I've wanted to be loved, but as it turns out,
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
I'll get someone else too.
Yeah, all I wanted to be was loved. That's right.
But yeah, except as it turns out, I'm unlovable. I'm such a fucking asshole. I don't fuck it up. I am just unlovable.
He was.
Poor unlovable Mike.
And she didn't even when she threw him out, she didn't hate him or anything. She just wanted to be happy and she wanted him to be happy and she recognised that they weren't happy together. Like she didn't have any malicious intent.
She sounds very pragmatic.
Yeah. Sensible person just was like, it's just we're done. It's just not working. Which is not as a result of him trying to kill her. This was the year before. Yeah. OVAH. That's it. I'm divorcing you.
Yeah. We're done, unlovable Mike.
Oh, the other thing I did like, I read her, she wrote on one of these Reddit threads that she thought about changing her name to Strong because the only thing that Ed Haffey said to her is you're strong. So she
you're strong.
Calling herself strong.
I like that if I thought you deserved to die, I'd do it with my own hands or something.
I loved it, yeah.
I wouldn't put it out to tender.
Oh, exactly, right?
That's right. To some crackhead.
If I ever believed you deserved to be dead, I would at least have had the balls to kill you myself.
Oh, nice.
She's awesome.
She's literally a character of a movie, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah.
She really is. She's the other thing she puts on Reddit a lot is she follows, and I suppose on Facebook, but she actually gives people like comments, advice, and stuff. And she does on occasion say, my husband hired a hitman to kill me, and she talks about the right time to leave. Like that's your exit sign. That's your exit sign. That's it. No, I think she does a lot of work with the police and she does with advocate groups on domestic violence. But I've seen her write things like, that's your exit sign. He's the arsehole. You need to go. And she was a burns nurse too. So, she's just a really interesting character who didn't deserve that to happen. But I'm just pleased that if someone has to die, the hitman's the right person, really. They sealed their fate when they decided to be so nefarious.
My thoughts on hitmen. I
don't
like the people. I don't like the people who employ them either.
No, it's the tendering. You're not keen on it.
Up. It sounds like for all of the PTSD and the horrible fright she must carry with her, there's some level of empowerment or freedom that she's got from it.
Mm-hmm. I think she always had it. They make these comments. I don't really understand what the point of this was, but it was one of those things that was in every article as well about her being a bit different to start with. So they said that she used to go to comedy clubs and she'd sit in the front row by herself. I mean, again, I don't really see the problem with that. But, people kept commenting on it like that was odd, I suppose. So she's just always run her own race, I think. And what's nice is that hasn't been taken away from her. That's what I think is, she's just this sort of incredible person.
I think having that amazing will to live and then having someone try to snuff you out and actually getting them instead, it sounds like she's just gone, you know what, I'm all of the things I thought I was and probably more, which it sounds like she's carrying that well rather than letting it destroy her soul, if that makes sense. Because I think you could go, my God, I killed someone. I'll never live with myself again. Yeah. It sounds like she's got a very good, healthy spin on what's happened.
And she's had a lot of support, and I do think that the family basically exonerating her to some degree must have helped. That must have made her feel a bit better. Yeah. It's a tough one because I don't get the sense that even in the fight that she ever consciously thought, I'm going to kill you. I think I don't think she ever thought. She just thought he's going to kill me. And
the fact that she stopped the first time says she had no intent, and then she's like, if I don't, I'll die.
Well, he started up again with it, didn't he? Like, at that point, he should have backed away and gone, Jesus, I bit off a bit more than I could chew there.
Yeah.
No, she bit off a bit more than she could chew in the end.
She sure did.
God.
I don't know if she bit anything off him, but I definitely read that she bit him a lot.
Biting his genitals through the zipper.
I know, that's how it was written. I didn't like it, but I was like, that must have hurt. But this poor guy, well, not poor guy, I don't feel sorry for him at all, but it's almost like something out of Home Alone.
Didn't see that coming.
It's like an adult version of Home Alone.
Or Melissa McCarthy. It's a little bit of a Melissa McCarthy manoeuvre as well. Like she would do that if she was in that position.
Melissa McCarthy can play her in the movie.
Yeah, I think, no offense to Kathy Bates, but I think Melissa McCarthy would be closer in age to when this happened. She was 51 when this happened. So, maybe they can cut to an older version of Susan later in the show. And
it's Kathy Bates.
Then. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Well, there's a story. I thought that was a good comeback story for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cracking. Liked it. Well done.
Yeah.
Indeed. Right. Very well found.
Good job.
Thanks for joining me on that one. And as we say every week, miss you already.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, Bella.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.